So the typical rounds on on the alternative media podcasts is being done. You know, Mark Zuckerberg is on Joe Rogan today. As if anybody would believe anything Mark Zuckerberg has to say. I mean, he never seems to be on the right of any kind of issue. And you know what? I'm not trying to be negative, because I know people just, oh no, it's all going to work out. It's all going to be beautiful and it's all going to be great. Yeah, no. You have to look at these people because their fruits have shown they don't change. But listening to him explain how it was all Biden, okay? And I'm not a supporter of Biden, clearly. But that it was all the Biden administration that was controlling social media. No, see, I have not been buying that narrative at all. Of course, X was created after Elon there bought Twitter, and then, the Twitter files were released. Yeah, how convenient. And it showed that it was the government and the intelligence agencies that infiltrated in and had backdoors into social media and were controlling things. No, social media is the military-industrial complex. It is. It is. And listening to him, I really it dawned on me. I'm like, that's controlled by the military. The intelligence agencies don't have to control it. Biden doesn't have to because the military-industrial complex controls Biden. So, and I looked this up, and it's really pretty true. And since social media is still playing games, because Trump's going to come into office the 20th, right? They certainly haven't stopped playing their games. So there's certainly, if it was just about the Biden administration, then you'd think that they would be rolling back that stuff, right? They're not. They're not. I can't, on TikTok, I can't use, a lot of people will use this green screen. It won't let me use green screen to show something. Not as of today. And I have not on any of the 3 accounts that I have on TikTok. YouTube is playing their games with doing their daily upload limit on me, and then their reason for that is you don't have enough followers. Well, that's because you shadow ban me, YouTube. And how am I supposed to get more followers when you make a daily upload limit, okay? Like all these games they're all playing because they're all tied. YouTube is, all of them. Because Silicon Valley controls it. So I was going to put this up on the screen, but I can't because TikTok and their playing games is not letting me. So what it says here is the military-industrial complex refers to the relationship between the military and defense contractors. Yeah, how many of Silicon Valley has defense contractors? A ton of them, especially Elon. While social media can be seen as a tool used by the military to influence public perception and recruit new members, this relationship has evolved into a military-industrial media complex where media plays a role in shaping narratives around military actions and policies. So, it's also this is using AI, obviously, or asking AI. The relationship between social media and the military-industrial complex is a topic of significant debate. Critics argue that social media platforms are deeply intertwined with the military-industrial complex, often serving to promote military interests of defense contractors. For example, during the Gulf War, General Electric, which owned NBC at the time, received $2 billion in defense contracts related to weapons used in the conflict. NBC correspondents and analysts praised the performance of U.S. weapons, many of which were produced by GE. It also goes on to say here that additionally there have been instances where former military personnel have been hired as media spokespersons by defense contractors. The New York Times reported in 2008 that approximately 75 military analysts, many with ties to defense industries, were being investigated for acting as surrogates for the Bush administration's military policy in the media. So, yeah, that shouldn't be a surprise. So what's really going to be telling is that none of these social medias are going to stop what they're doing once Trump goes into office, which then you will know that even though Biden is a puppet, okay, that's what he is, that's what he's been the whole time, is a puppet. So then you will know, no, it wasn't just the Biden White House. It was the people behind Biden. It was the shadow government. It's the military-industrial complex. Because none of these social medias are going to change because Silicon Valley is controlling it all. And I really look at Silicon Valley as the military-industrial complex, to an arm of it anyway. So, because there's no reason, like X played their game of, oh, we released the Twitter files. Yeah, but how ironic that they put all the blame on Biden, but they never put it on the shadow government. Because Biden's been a puppet the whole time. And you could say, well, it's the FBI or CIA that came. No, it's really the military-industrial complex. I'm not saying FBI isn't rolled into some of that. But for them to act like the government, I mean, it is still the government. So the government is silencing you, and they don't have a right to, because all of these social medias, none of them are independent. Even if they are, whoever is controlling the internet, which is Silicon Valley, they are part of the government. They just, their defense contracts automatically, you can, write them off as, I mean, that's the only reason Elon is trying to get in. That's the only reason big tech in general is trying to warm up to Trump, is because of their military contracts and their defense. So, I mean, AI is all about that. So, Mark Zuckerberg, I mean, he pretty much just exposed it in a way, because he said that, we have to play this balancing act, that if we think somebody's, promoting terrorism online, we need to, keep people safe and remove the account. And he's like, and sometimes that may mean we're wrong, and but we erred on the side of caution. Does any of that sound familiar? It should. It's the same thing the science uses. We need to keep you safe. Yes, we need to silence speech to keep you safe. If we're wrong and you weren't really a terrorist, we just took you down for other reasons, but we'll use the excuse that we thought you were a terrorist, but then afterwards give you your account back. I mean, all of this stuff is ridiculous. And to think that it was just the Biden administration or just the Democrats is a joke. And here's the reason I say this too, is because Zuckerberg brought up many times about Jim Jordan, and because they did a whole investigation into this. Yeah, how many of those Republicans there in Washington and Democrats are just puppets for the military-industrial complex? Because to act like it was just the Biden White House is ridiculous. Biden can barely function. There's always been a puppet, or he's just been a puppet for whoever's behind him, controlling him. And who's controlling him is the military-industrial complex. So you'll know very, very shortly, because when Trump goes into office, if it's really true that it was just the Democrats and the Biden administration, well, then everybody should no longer be shadow banned, even though they'll still do it. Nobody should have anything removed anymore. And, well, there shouldn't be all the nonsense that's gone on for the last 8 years, because Biden's not in anymore. But I'll guarantee it will still go on, because the military-industrial complex doesn't care if it's a Republican or Democrat in office. They just run around and do whatever the hell they want.